Okay. All right. Good evening. Tonight, we're calling to order the regular meeting of the North Branford and Conservation and Inland Wetlands and Watercourses Agency. This meeting of Wednesday, November 15th, 2023, approximately 6:30 p.m. First thing I'd like to do is just do a roll call of everyone seated here this evening. We have regular members Bob Whitworth, Frank Pagano, Ashley Joyner, Jerry Fishback. We also have Marie Diamond, our liaison from the Town Council. And we have David Perkins, who is our Town Planner and Wetlands Administrator. I'm Steve Scavo. I'm Chairman for this evening's meeting. Next, we'd like to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we do have a set of minutes from the June 28th, 2023 meeting. So does anyone have any motions or recommendations or revisions on those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. June 28th minutes are approved. Next item is old business, but I don't see that we have anything there. So we can go into new business. Don't see anything there, right, David? It looks like we're going to go right into the violations, or
Correct.
Okay. We'll go to item 6, which is Wetland Enforcement Officer's Report.
That you're on, David.
I'm on. Well, we have the violation at 213 Forest Road, which has been going on for a number of years. Recently, he took a pile of rocks and put them on the banks of the pond.
After clearing all the live brush and greenery around the pond out.
Correct.
Yes.
And placed the rocks on the pond. I've spoken to him innumerable times since I've become your wetlands officer and told him that he needs to get approval before he does these sort of things. And he's always surprised when he does something and I show up an hour later. I did speak with him at about 3:30 this afternoon and told him that I had written him a letter 10 days ago and said that it would be in his best interest to get here again tonight, as I had told him previously. He said he would have somebody here or he would come here. I told him that if he didn't show up, that the commission would probably take some sort of action and that I would be back and continue my enforcement actions. I don't believe he's done anything since he did that sort of rock thing, but he does things all of a sudden when he gets rocks. Somebody says, "Oh, I have rocks." He's like, "Okay, I'll put them around my pond." He doesn't think about it.
Are these rocks in addition to the big boulders that he placed?
No, these are the big boulders. These are the
Rocks and boulders.
He's kind of lying there.
Well, the boulders have been there for a while now, right?
road side,
Yeah.
but these are on the bank side.
This is by his house.
So, David, I just want to say we appreciate all your efforts with this. This is an ongoing thing, and you've kind of jumped in at the end. So we understand you're doing the best you can, but probably we need to discuss. It just seems like he's just taking advantage of the town. He's just not going to comply, or he's just going to do what he wants. So maybe we can have a discussion later on about some of the actions that we need to take, and with even going to the town attorney or whatever. But I don't want to get into it now. But I think we should have a discussion.
Is anybody here for 213 Forest Road?
No, I didn't think so.
Okay.
Okay.
Just double check.
No, you're right. No, because if they were, it would be great. But so is that okay, Brother? I think we do need to have a discussion.
Yes,
do a
we do.
little more than just having Dave run out there every week. And okay.
And I did suggest to him that if he couldn't be here at 6:30, that if he showed up at 7 or 7:15,
All right.
that
If he does, we'll move back. We'll kick back and then we'll talk about it. But all right, very good. Then I guess we can move on to item B, violation at 574 Forest Road.
So we have the owner of 574, Al. You want to come up? Al lives within 200 feet of the Farm River. He's a relatively new rocky area towards the Farm River. And then beyond that was sort of a no man's land. And Al went out and started clearing all that brush within 200 feet of the Farm River in what appears to be wetlands on the wetlands map, and may indeed be wetlands. And I don't think Al had anything nefarious that he was doing other than he was just trying to open it up and was naive in regards to the regulations. But he did submit an application after we had a conversation, and he's here to talk to you about this situation.
All right, just identify yourself again for the record, sir, just so, we can hear you. That's,
Yes, can you hear me?
yeah, it'll pick you up, just to have it on record.
It's Alfred Bono.
Oh,
All right?
yeah. And just describe like what you were trying to do,
Right,
I
here's
mean,
the
just so we
situation.
understand.
When I bought the house, there was a wood fence in the back, and the wood fence was all rotted out. It was almost like, kind of like a half circle almost. And so I started removing the fence, and on the other side of the fence, there's a dip. You know, the yard was only manicured to the fence. So in the back, it was just brush, you know, more or less brush, no trees. And then as I'm clearing it, I could see there's a lot of litter back there. There's barrels. There's all kinds of stuff that I want to get out of there. That's what made me go back there. I wasn't clearing anything, and then at the end when I got a lot of the stuff out, I had a couple truckloads of dirt to make this go down flat, level, make it level. You know what I mean? And that's all. That's all that was done.
Well, and
It's simple.
that's fine. And the thing is that I appreciate your description. It's just the bottom line is it was within 200 feet of the wetlands. I don't know how far you actually filled. Is that
I
something?
didn't measure it,
Yeah.
so I don't really know.
Did
It wasn't.
you
it
see the
wasn't next to
disturbance,
river.
David? I didn't see it. I mean, maybe some of the other members did. How far? Obviously we regulate within the 200 feet. Do you know how far it went back, or?
It's right at the edge of the 100-year flood zone. And it's
That's where it dips down? Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it dips down.
Because it's
It
eroded
doesn't-
away.
It doesn't flood there very often, but it floods enough that he's got tires and debris and stuff that floats down when the river's really flooding.
Yeah, it might have been covered there for God knows how long, and nobody went back there. But there was a lot of stuff washed up.
Well, I mean, if we understand if you want to pull stuff out of there, obviously you don't want to go in there and do more damage, but obviously cleaning up the rivers is a beneficial thing. I just wanted to know how much fill you put in. Were you just trying to extend your yard, or
No, I'm not trying to extend the yard. I just wanted to make it level.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I could go back there if stuff washed up or whatever. And if I want to go back to see the river, I'm in a wheelchair. I want to make it flat.
Right.
Not flat, but it's on a downward slope. But I didn't even get close to the river.
I'm just trying to get an idea of how close. But so at this point, you don't anticipate wanting to
I
do
didn't
any
measure
more.
it. I don't really know.
There's the map and the application.
Permit application, I see.
David, did you go and look at the property?
Yes.
Did you take any pictures?
Yes.
Do you have copies of the pictures that we can see?
I believe I emailed those pictures there. Okay, well, I can print them out shortly if you want.
Nope,
Okay,
we don't have it.
I'm sorry, I thought I sent them out.
So my question is just, at this point, you're not trying to do any more work there. What's there is done. You're saying the little small
Pretty
amount of
much.
fill.
Pretty much,
Do you know
yeah.
how much fill was put in? About just
I would say
how many cubic yards?
I don't know, cubic yards.
Or
It
dump
was
trucks
like-
full?
It was a single axle dump truck that was bringing some fill for me, and probably like 4 or 5
Okay.
loads.
So how's that right now? Did you
It's
ever
good.
did you plant seed over it, or is it
No,
stable, or
no,
is it?
because Dave came over and said, "Stop doing what you're
Okay,
doing."
all right.
So I
It's
didn't
fine.
progress.
I'm just asking. I
So-
didn't know how long it's been there. So
What we need you to understand is anytime you do anything in wetlands, you need to come before us first,
All right.
okay? And this looks like most of your property is in the wetlands and then within 100 and 200 feet of the Farm River. And the Farm River is a major tributary drinking water for further downstream than we are.
That's great. That's why I was pulling out all the debris that had washed up there.
Debris is one thing, the brush is another. You're
No,
not
it's
allowed.
not brush. It's tires, it's barrels.
I understand, but I
it's
saw
water
dump
bottles.
trucks full of brush coming out.
What's that?
I saw brush coming out in the back of the trucks.
Absolutely not. You're absolutely wrong.
That-
There wasn't one truck that left with anything from my yard.
That and
Nothing.
you can't bring fill in without a permit too, because that fills in the wetlands.
I'm going to say I didn't know that.
I know, and
You know.
that's why we're just letting you know
Right.
that has to take place before us.
I'm taking care of the property. I'm not trying to destroy anything.
We understand that, and most people have the same intention of doing that.
Right. I don't want to put a building back there. I don't want to do anything, but just make it look good because I just bought it.
So what is your intent for the area that you put the dirt? Are you going to grow grass, or what do you
Yeah,
want to do?
David mentioned that there's a certain kind of seed that would be good back there.
And then you're going to let it go wild? You're going to mow it?
I don't know. I don't really know. I don't really have to mow it. You know what I mean? I could though. If it grows.
I don't know what he recommended.
Well, you get a wetland mix back there and grow it into a meadow, and
You just let it grow, then you
you
don't
just
cut
let
it.
it grow, and if you want to mow it once a year, you can mow it once a year.
Yeah.
It's good for wildlife.
Right.
So when could that be planted? I mean, obviously now we're kind of past the season, so
Yeah.
we'll probably have to wait till the spring, but is there an optimum time for wetland mix? I know grass, you certainly don't like in southern Connecticut,
You can
usually
do it
by,
in the fall or the spring.
yeah. So you can do it in the spring also? Okay.
I mean, we've had a very wet year, and it's not that wet back there. And there's certain areas that where it might be puddling up, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, but even, as like Ashley said, even though wetlands aren't always obvious, but a lot of times it goes by soil, like floodplains, usually even when they're not wet, just by virtue of being near the farm river. And again, we're just trying to educate you. We're not, we're not trying to accuse.
I get it.
But just so you understand, to emphasize what Ashley said, we usually.
And I'm just trying to convey what I had
Right.
in my mind to
So
you.
why you're here is because obviously we regulate anything within, most wetlands are 100 feet, but 200 feet because of the nature of the farm river, the sensitive,
All right.
the nature of it, and that it contributes to a large drinking water, reservoir, so.
And David, if we require it, there is no mowing, not even once a year, of anything that's within 100 feet of the farm river. That has to stay wild.
If you go online, on the town website, I think it's under our group, there's a link to a document we prepared. It's the homeowner's guide to the wetlands.
All right.
And I know we're trying to get them in the, there's some in the Stanley T, because I put them there, but I know David is putting them in the libraries, town hall, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
That'd be worth it for you to look at.
Sure.
Because it outlines, we're trying to get it out to as many people as possible, so that these types of incidences don't occur, because most people don't know.
Yeah.
Do we want to see it?
I don't quite understand this map,
Well,
because
you can barely see the river.
Maybe we should go look at it, because we can't,
is
just to
this
get an idea.
shadow over here the actual river?
That's the river, yeah.
Okay,
that's
so
the
all this
river. And
area-
the blue is the wetland, is from the wetlands map, right?
Gotcha.
So all the blue is considered wetlands, not necessarily,
Yeah, you can see.
the farm river is in that blue, right? Is that what I'm thinking? Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
It's in
Yeah,
here
so
somewhere.
the farm river is right here.
Right
There's
there,
a-
right?
there-
See
You
where
can
the line
barely
is? Okay,
see it.
There's a shadow.
Yep, I see
So
it, okay.
that's where the
Wasn't
farm
sure.
river is, and this is this the floodplain then?
Yeah.
So this is the floodplain.
That's what I figured.
So
You can see the wetlands continue past the floodplain.
So the floodplains actually came
The slope.
to the fence that used to be.
yeah, that's
You can physically see it out there.
Yeah.
It's like the circle. And then there's floodplain, and who knows whether that was all, that must have been filled.
yeah, and that's probably why they have the fence. It's like a semicircular fence. That's why they probably put the fence there, because that was the end of the floodplain.
Well, and somebody filled.
Sort of fill area, maybe.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's necessary to see it.
Let me just, so at this point, Dave, so and you both you gentlemen can answer. I assume the fill's there, it's spread out, so it's really just ready for seeding. It's not like in piles, right? Has it been graded? So in other words, are you happy with the grade, at least, I mean, assuming that we could seed it, and I'm just trying to do the best thing. I don't want to cause more damage there, but, but.
I think if he just seeded it and walked away, that everything would be fine.
What about, can we put up the wetlands, have them put up some wetlands,
Tags at the
Tags.
100-foot
Yeah.
mark.
at least at the 100-foot mark? This way it's consistent with what we're doing at the 100-foot mark.
You could put them around at the edge of that floodplain.
Or wherever is appropriate, so it's designated and marked that it's wetlands, and so it's,
And there's no more encroachment, so at least people, whoever's there, obviously, Rono or whoever's there knows that you can't encroach beyond those markers, right? And that's what we want, right? Something,
yeah. I think in his case, probably the 100-foot mark
100-foot mark.
right.
makes the most sense.
I think
Because you don't want it on his house.
100 foot from the river?
Yeah.
Well, that's probably in the woods, probably not in the area.
So beyond the fill, so it's not even that close, and you're saying, oh, okay, I'm just trying to get an idea.
Oh, okay, I thought based on this map, I thought it was closer.
So estimate, so
If we do halfway, that's
Well, even if we
100 feet.
So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get an idea of the base of the fill, like, where the farthest it goes, and then obviously it's in the floodplain. So from the end of that fill to the river, is it over 100 feet, you would say? Oh, okay, so it's not close. I'm trying to just get a
Yeah,
feel of this.
you can't even see the river through
Okay.
the trees.
So, all right, so,
Well, we should still, maybe at the tree line then,
yeah.
put the markers. If that's the case, at least at the tree line.
Yeah,
Then he can put them on the trees, right?
be
And
good
he
for a
doesn't,
place to put them in there, yeah.
yeah.
You put them on trees rather than on posts.
Yeah.
Well, just so they'll, in theory, the trees hopefully will be there a long time, we hope, because there won't be any cutting of them. I'm sure you weren't planning to go out there and cut any trees down, so.
Probably only needs a couple of them.
Yeah, maybe just, probably a good place to put them.
We've been doing this with all of the applications and stuff that we have. Everybody, we've been giving the markers to everybody.
Okay.
It's part of education
Yeah.
for the property owner who owns it, plus anyone else who comes around or purchased the property, or, it's education. It's more than,
Right.
we find many, homeowners and things really don't intend to hurt the wetlands, aren't even aware of it, so education is the only way we're going to,
Yeah. So I just want to tell you guys, I grew up in this town since I wasn't even born. I came here, and so I don't want to destroy anything. I love this.
No, we know. We're just trying, again, you're here, we're just trying to educate you of what our regulations
I got you.
cover.
I got
and
you.
what we allow and what we don't allow, and
Right.
and there's a procedure for, for doing anything, any kind of development with near, or in the buffer of a wetland. It's not to say we're going to deny everything, but it's just got to come in front of us, that's all.
Right.
So
I got you.
just for the future, if anything else comes up, and, you have another, it's the best thing to do, and I recommend this to everyone, pick up the phone, it's free, we don't charge for it, call the town. You can talk to David, and then you get, before you do anything, you can get guided through, because it's so often, a simple phone call would have saved a lot of strife,
You're absolutely right.
And we have no problems going into the woods to the river and clearing out trash, tires, barrels, whatever you
It's a good
find,
thing.
go right ahead.
Absolutely.
Take it out.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
It's sad that you have to find it.
Yeah, it is.
I know,
It's very
but
sad.
like when you get a heavy storm, it's going to wash everything that's on the sides in,
Yeah.
and then wherever it's going to land.
Yeah, I know, but it's,
And I got a pile of bottles. I mean, bottles are easy. They blow in the water all the time.
yeah, it's sad.
Yep.
It is. But I want to make it look good,
No, we're with you on that.
And we appreciate your willingness to do that, because
Yeah.
we all, it's a pristine area, it's
Right.
it's a nice wetland,
Right.
and so we appreciate that, and hopefully out of this comes a little education, and you'll be a little wiser, and, we'll move on, so.
Absolutely.
So again, the best course of action, David, I'm just, throw it out to the agency members, but it looks like the best thing to do is in the spring, we're gonna say, leave it as is, nothing else, no more disturbance, and then just seed it with the wetland mix, and just let it go wild, and then, is that your?
Put
And then put signs on the trees.
Put-
And then put signs in the trees. I think
I'm okay with that.
is everyone okay with that, is accepting the application?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for coming in.
Yeah, we appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thanks for taking out the trash.
No, that's what made me go back there was when I started seeing old stuff. Because it's my yard too, you know, I don't
Yeah, I
want,
know.
No, you're living in it, all
I'm
right?
not
You want-
surprised.
Absolutely.
you know? And then it really amazed me, but when I got closer to the river, all the stuff that was there.
Oh, yeah.
Because nobody goes back there.
I know. It's kind of sad it gets down there because I'm sure, I can just tell by you, you're certainly not throwing anything in there. You know,
We had
you're
we
clean.
had a walk along the river for the disc golf course that
Yes.
the Park and Rec want to put in, and we were pulling bags of trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we filled garbage bags full of trash as
Yeah.
we walked
I was
through.
shocked.
Right.
Good.
All right, guys, thank you.
All right,
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We don't need a motion.
Approve this application, or how's that going?
I'm going to ask Dave.
He's already done that.
Okay.
So David, what, do we have a motion or something? Can we, or should we accept the
There is an
application?
application. I did not take an application fee because I didn't know which way it was going to go.
Right.
So if you want to approve the application, that's a non-regulated permit. I will get the fee and we'll get a permit.
Okay.
So I would suggest you make a motion.
Make, to accept the,
So does he know he's going to have a fee now? I know he's leaving.
Yeah, no, I
I'm
told
sure-
him.
oh, yeah.
Oh, all right, all right. I don't want him to be surprised and go, what?
So basically, we can just list the two things that you guys said.
So how does the motion?
The signs.
Why don't you do it?
Oh, sure, thanks. I move to approve the application of 574 Forest Road, owner Alfred Bono, assessor map 58D, lot 1C, with the provisions of posting the wetland signs on the tree line and for no more fill to be placed on the property and to be seeded and let it grow wild.
You want to second it?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Okay, motion passes. So
I hope that was good enough.
very good, excellent. No, that's why we always recruit you, Ashley, because you're being a teacher, you're just so good at it, you know?
Who was the second?
We got to get him in the minutes.
Yes, yes.
Don't worry, you'll have
That's right.
Okay.
All right, let's move to item C, which is violation at 32 Cyril Road.
So I got a complaint about Tom, what's his name?
Dependable heating and cooling.
Dependable heating on Zero Road, that they were clearing trees, making a whole lot of noise early in the morning. And I went up there and indeed they were cutting trees and making a whole lot of noise, but it wasn't that early in the morning anymore. You know, you can cut trees as of right, but cutting trees within a wetland area is a different situation. So I walked around and I said, oh, we need a real problem here. Clearly, in my mind, we're in wetlands. Tom came up and brought the survey, which is attached to the letter that I sent to him. And it clearly shows wetlands all over the property. Tom stopped doing his activity as soon as I requested him to stop. And we walked around, he said, I'm looking around my property, trying to figure out how to develop it. And there are things on the property I'd like to get rid of, just like Alfred said, you know, there's all sorts of junk and crap on the property that would be, I didn't know. I needed a permit. I think your timber or lumber are probably new when he was up there getting stuff that he probably needed a permit. So we stopped and desisted and we're not doing any more work up there. I believe Tom has hired the engineer firm Jim Creddy
Oh, good.
to
This is very
lay
good.
out
Yes,
some sort of
good
site
choice.
plan
Yeah.
to come up with a concept of where it would be logical to build something rather than cutting down all the trees, trying to figure out where maybe he thinks it makes sense to build it.
Right.
So that's where we are.
So is this being developed for your business, or is this being developed for residential?
Right now, I'm in the same boat as Al. I was just trying to clean it up. There's a lot of junk on it.
I
I
mean, is your
don't know
business-
what I had on the property.
Oh, could you just identify yourself for the record, sir?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know who you are, but you just got to
Tom
get out.
Ferrigno.
Thank you. Okay.
Dependable Heating.
Yep, okay, thank you. Just want to.
And again, I bought this property from Triano, Danny Triano, and about 3-4 years ago. It's totally wooded up. I did not know it was wetlands. The piece that I had didn't, specify exactly where it was. I just have the wood guy had his equipment over at Dependable Hydraulics getting fixed. He says, I just got it fixed. I said, all right, well then come over and clean it up. So I can get it surveyed and figure out what I'm gonna put on the property. And the neighbor called, which I didn't even know it was an issue, cutting trees down and cleaning it up to get it surveyed, but I was learning. It's a learning process.
So anyway, you kind of heard our spiel from before.
Yeah,
Is that
it's
whenever
identical story.
whenever you do a project, it's best thing to do is call. And the thing is, and I understand your intention.
I had no idea.
And I know you're a lot because I used to walk with my kids, and it is kind of an upland lot. You wouldn't the wetlands aren't as obvious as to a normal person. There is some vernal pools up there and some things, and it is a little wet, but. Anyway, the best thing to do is it sounds like you're already starting the process. You're going to hire Jim Preddy.
Yeah,
he's
I
going to
hired
go with an
him.
application.
He's going to go. He's very familiar with it through Chris Cole.
And he'll mark the wetlands because you're going to need that anyway when you put a site plan in for the town, for the planning and zoning. It always comes to us first. So before you could even do anything, and it's obviously you don't want to be once the wetlands are marked and you have kind of a site plan, then we can guide you on what can be built where and what you can do on the property.
Like I was telling Dave, you can't even get in there to survey. It's so heavily brushed. I was just looking to get the boundaries, everything marked out, see what I have to build on, and take it from there.
And the main thing is, like you said, just identifying the wetlands where they are. So obviously that's a pretty good sized lot, right? What's the acreage on that?
It's almost 4 acres.
Is it? Yeah, I was going to say because it goes all the way down to the dirt road near Amelia's house, Amelia Triano's house.
Yeah, I'm in front of J.J. Sullivan.
I'm just trying. Okay, right. I'm just trying to get an idea.
When you say in front of, you mean?
His property is
the propane line. Remember the old propane piece? That's behind that, basically, right?
Yeah.
But it goes a long way, though, right?
I'm Dependable Heating and Cooling. I'm trying to hurry up and get something there before they get something there.
Right. Yeah. No, well, the bottom line is again, obviously doesn't sound like you were doing anything intentional. You're just trying to open up the lot. So just so you can assure us that you're not going to do anything until Jim comes in with the site plan. I mean, it's not like you're on a time frame. Oh, I asked because some people, obviously you want it done right. We want it, and if you're going to do anything, obviously we want a site plan from a certified engineer, which Jim is a great choice. We've worked with him before. And so when that happens, all we ask is you obviously can work with David or anything, but just when you get that, we'll get you on the agenda. Come in and
Absolutely.
Even if it's just to clear it, at least you don't have a building set. At least we can direct you on what you can clear and what you can't.
Right.
Even if you don't maybe have and then you still have to come back if you ever build a building. That's another whatever, or you have a specific use for it, whatever. But so. Anyway, so.
Are you thinking about getting your business in there?
Yeah, well, I'm renting right now from Triano and Son. So I'm in that building there.
Oh, okay.
And I'd like to eventually build something so I can have my own. Again, I was born and raised in town and fire department, all 9 yards. So.
Yeah, no, I'm sure there's a lot of
land. I got my home there.
But I mean, it's a 4-acre lot. I'm sure, regardless of the wetlands, I'm sure they'll once they're flagged and you know what you can do and you can. I'm sure there'll be plenty of room to
yeah, well, I hope so.
To work on it, So
I spent a lot of money on this piece of property.
Yeah.
I had no idea, that they called that wetlands.
Again, a lot of people when it's because it's an upland piece, and if you're not familiar with it, a lot of times it's by soil. Sometimes you don't even see. There's not like a stream through there or anything. But anyway, the bottom line is once Jim takes care of that, mark the wetlands, brings it in. And then we can go from there. So
absolutely.
And as long as you're not on a short time frame,
I'm not.
The best thing to do is get it done right. Because whatever you do on this property, you want it marked. You want the wetlands marked, and because it's all going to come through us first, and then go to planning and zoning.
I just wanted to clear up the junk, make it so that the surveyor can get in there.
Well, I'm just curious.
Surveyors can get through brush.
This is heavy brush.
Who had the lot before? I'm just wondering, what kind of
Nobody
junk?
had the
I'm just
lot
curious.
before,
It was just, is it really,
It's
you're talking
just
really old
people-
stuff?
Yeah,
I'm just,
people that left stuff
oh,
on the
okay, I'm just
property.
curious, because that's not far from where I live.
And,
It's not,
there
it's
was a
great to hear
house-
about.
I know you might be familiar with the house in the back, Conti's old.
Oh, yeah, because it's right below there, right?
They
Uncle
emptied
Gino.
their house
Yeah.
all
Gino's.
onto my property.
Oh, because I never could even see up there when I visit my in-laws.
it's
I'd go to.
it's a mess.
Did they dump a lot of, oh, boy, okay, so that probably what you're cleaning up is someone's left over from that. Yeah,
Exactly.
gotcha, okay. They dumped on technically your property, okay, well,
Everybody had a dump back in the
No,
day.
I know.
yeah, that's right, yeah. it was- You can't see up there either unless you go up there, so.
Okay.
So, anyway, unless any of the other agency members, you have any other comments, or David, we'll just leave it? What do you
I
think?
think we can just leave it open. They didn't get that far into it, that it's gonna ruin any wetlands.
Good.
If we just let them sit, I believe there probably are some vernal pools over there.
Yeah.
They really didn't get that far.
Good, well, that's good, so it didn't do as much damage as we were concerned about,
Yeah.
good, all right.
So I think we can.
Should we make a motion to table it, or
Want to table it and
until pending an application?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's what I was gonna say, I'm gonna come back with an application,
Yeah.
I just didn't have anything.
No, that's fine.
Down right
No, we appreciate you coming in and telling us. No, we didn't expect to even see one tonight, because it takes time to do all that, so.
Right.
So I'll make a motion to
Yep.
table this item until you're ready.
That wasn't very informative. Table this item. What item, Frank?
In violation
Oh
of
my goodness, at
32.
least put 32 Zero Road, map 27C.
32
Brings them in a very short order.
Map 27C, lot 39-2, owner applicant Thomas Frigno.
Well, I figured he'd fill in the blanks.
All right, well, again, thank you for coming in and going over that, Tom.
Yeah, sorry about that.
And we appreciate it. Obviously, it sounds like an honest mistake, but thank goodness we got it before you did any
So Jerry seconded
damage
it.
there, so.
We still need to vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Thank you.
Good night, thank you.
All right, next we can move on to item D, discussion of enforcement tools. Enforcement tools.
so that's me.
That's you, right? That's what, yeah, yes.
You're the tool.
Once you issue normal way is to issue a cease and desist order, have your hearing, and after that, you can issue fines, but the fines are not applicable until you go to Superior Court and actually have a judge say, pay the fine.
That we're adding liens onto the property, which we don't get back until it sells.
Can you add a lien, though, without a judge?
Yeah.
No, you need, yeah.
But that would be something our town attorney would process, right? And technically, right?
So-
And then they would,
Yeah, we bring an action and
Right.
give fines and do a lien and go through that whole year-and-a-half process of,
but it's not payable actually till the very end of the process, is what you're saying, right? If
well, then
the
if you
judge,
actually said you got a lien, then if
Right.
you want to foreclose and get your money, you can do
because they
that.
can't sell the property right with the
How
lien,
long-
yes.
And how long does that process generally take?
The court process, it's probably 6 months to 18 months. So there's another process that I sent you,
Right.
that's a citation process, where I can go out and basically give you a parking ticket for a violation of the wetland regulations and fine you $100 a day for each day that you're in violation of it.
But still hard to enforce.
Well, no, it's much easier to enforce.
Is it?
Because actually, then I send you a letter of, after the citations are done, I notify you that you've been cited. I've already told you that fines are like $1,000, and you go before a hearing officer, who would be a disinterested member of the community, who would listen to quasi-judicial process, listen to my side, listen to his side,
Okay.
and find him guilty or not guilty. If he finds him guilty, he can pay the fine, or he can appeal it to Superior Court, in which case we're back to the same situation, but we're in Superior Court, and that's a criminal proceeding, not a civil proceeding. It's like a parking ticket. Typically what happens is they don't appeal it because they don't want to talk to you. So you go in front of the hearing judge, they never show up. If they don't show up, the hearing judge says guilty. If they don't appeal it within 15 days, they're guilty, and I can fine them. And I can assess monetary judgment against them at that point.
Right, but how do you collect?
I can attach their bank accounts.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So there is some clout there.
There is a
That's
little
interesting. Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
something.
no, it's actually, it's a very effective process because you give them parking tickets, like, once a
Right.
week. I send you a letter, and I say $500. The next one is, now it's
It just
$1,000.
keeps going up.
Now it's $2,000.
And so like, and I understand you have the authority to do this, so does anyone in the commission or like say our town attorney have to come? Is there anything that you have to do to go with that, or is it pretty simple process?
No, it's just me and the hearing officer. Once I get a hearing officer,
Oh, okay.
that's pretty much it. We do it with
Okay.
blight.
Is it all through the mail, or do you actually show up to their doorstep?
Oh, no, certified mail.
Certified mail. Okay.
Oh, okay, so that's how, all right.
So I was going to say, because wouldn't you want to take a police officer with you?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go to anyone's door, but the certified letters.
We do it frequently in blight citations.
we
And actually, blight citations, you can lien property.
But we don't do that. I tried
Right.
No
to get a
blight
blight ordinance through this town,
We don't have one.
and we don't have one. That was gonna be my next question. Can we do this through this, changing our rules and regulations, or does it have to go to the town council?
It's got to be an ordinance.
Ordinance, yeah, I don't think, I'd be shocked if it ever happens, because we couldn't get the blight order. The town attorney at that time told the town council that the most effective ordinance they could have is blight.
Right.
And the town council refused to move forward on it.
Well, I think there's a bit of a movement in town towards a blight.
Yeah, because I like to.
Wow, so how
see
could
that.
we,
Try it again?
how could we, I mean, what needs to be done to move that along? Is it something from us that needs to come, like a
Yeah.
motion or a recommendation kind of thing, like we've
Well,
done?
I think we should work on it. If it's something you want to do,
Oh, yeah.
I'll
Oh,
talk to
absolutely.
the town manager and because there's a zoning citation.
Right.
And the pushback I've seen in other towns is that all of a sudden I'd like the sheriff with a big badge. And small towns don't really want to have somebody like me from Short Beach coming around and being the sheriff. That's
Well-
the pushback I've seen.
Yeah, well, when we did the blight, it was a group of us, it wasn't me individually, it was a group of us who tried to get the blight ordinance through. One of the major issues was the police department issue going to the home, because, and I agreed with it for personal reasons, they didn't like the idea of a police officer bringing the citation, but your suggestion of doing it certified mail, return receipt, I think that'd be more palatable.
Less invasive.
And then the blight ordinance that we proposed, and it was a heartfelt-based blight ordinance, understanding that there are a lot of reasons for people to have blight, especially mental health reasons for hoarders and things like that. And, you know, again, we just, I don't know if you remember this, we couldn't get it through, but a lot of those town council members at the time are gone. And I know I feel, based on what we've gone through here the last few years, that we really need to have a way of finding people to put some teeth in what we're doing. Otherwise, it's a waste of being here, because, you know, we shouldn't have these arguments that we have with people. These are the ordinances. It's not,
So do you think
Sure.
you could, like, move that forward? I'm sorry, but I didn't mean to interrupt with the town manager. You think if you could have a discussion?
I could definitely move it forward, and if we want to have a blight, I mean, I would
Yeah.
have zoning, blight, wetlands conversation all at the same
Okay.
time.
That'd be
Not to
perfect.
That would be great.
change the subject to blight, but there are a lot of different ways of formulating a blight ordinance so that you have a group of people who gather together as the enforcement agency, shall we say. So you have somebody from the health department, the building department, the fire department, the zoning department, and we all sit down and meet and talk about properties
But what I
and decide to issue a citation,
If
as
you're-
opposed to other towns where I've just been the sheriff and
yeah.
Yeah, that kind of puts you in the crosshairs. We don't want
The
that.
thing is, we want to be a town, we wanted to be business friendly, town friendly, if you'd like, I believe I still have what we proposed. I can email it to you on the blight, so you can see what we proposed. That was before COVID, right?
Yeah, before.
Yeah, it was way before,
Yes.
but way
I think
before
what I
COVID.
could do is when I make my report on your meeting, I can bring it up to the town council.
That'd be great. That'd
But
be-
that won't be until December because I just did reports last night.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
That's
It's,
all right.
as long as we can get something started.
Frank, if you have a copy of it, it would be helpful if you could send it to me.
I will. I'll send it to everybody.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Enforcement of anything, a lot of enforcement is driven by whoever's in charge. For example, if you have Police Chief A, that person's enforcement strategy may be different than Police Chief B, right? It comes with the territory. You have the right of the leadership, you set direction, you take the policy from the town council. So, do you envision, in your discussion, your thoughts, do you envision a primary focus on training and talking to people, or the primary focus now wants to shift to something that's more punitive? Or do you think a balance is, you're looking for a little bit more balance there to have a little more oomph behind you, the talking to people and the education piece?
well, I think it's a final tool. So
Yeah,
of course
it's in your
you
tool
talk to
bag,
people
right.
and have a conversation, and if they come forward like they did tonight,
Yeah.
that's fabulous. And if they hold out, you can always send them a citation. And the beauty of the citation process is that it doesn't really have any teeth until you go to the second step. So I never actually have to sort of
Right.
formally issue them until I want to.
Right.
So I write you a letter and say it's $500, it's $1,000, it's $1,500. All of a sudden they're like, oh, it's $2,500. I said, yeah, but if you fix it, forget about it.
Right, we want to change their behavior.
Scares them a little bit.
We're not here to punish these people for the sake of punishment. We want to change their behavior and their activities.
Exactly.
Some people will, some won't. For example, our friend from 213, that might be something where an ordinance, we're getting to the point where we need to get his attention, so that might be my first target, I should say.
I'm for it.
But that'd be great if you could, with Frank's, work that he already done, maybe we could, by the next meeting or two or whatever, whenever, make some progress and let us know how we could do that moving forward.
Yeah, we didn't detail it. We were working with there was was it a zoning enforcement officer? I forgot what that other fellow's name was. And he had ended up having a heart operation, and that's why a lot of it fell through. But it wasn't an ordinance per se, but it was an outline of what we were trying to do.
There are a lot of different ways of doing the blight ordinance, but the zoning and the wetland ordinance is pretty.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm all for it.
Good, very good. All right, I guess we can move on to item E, which is the RWA Lake Gallard project. If you want to give us an update, David, on that?
You have about as much information.
Pretty much what we have, okay.
Yes, I do. They're doing a bunch of stuff to the lake to try to keep the silt from coming into one of the inputs of the
yeah.
lake.
Rose Stream or something.
Yeah, I guess it carries a lot of silt and nutriments, fertilize certain things, and it washes. So, it's fine. It's protecting drinking water. I don't really have a
Wait,
big problem with it.
They've always been very good at doing everything they possibly can, in most cases, to protect.
I mean, of all people, it's in their best
it's in
interest.
their
They're not like
best
a business that doesn't care. That's their
Right.
business is clean water, so I would assume that they would.
So my understanding on this project is it's kind of a trial whereby they're doing something on a small scale to see how that affects the outflow.
Yep.
And if that is successful, then they will expand it.
Good.
And if that's not successful, they'll be trying something else.
Plan B. Yeah, well, I give them credit.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very
I have no problems with it.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, then just keep us posted, David, if they change or do something else or expand, as always. Just
If they
let us know.
want them to come and give you a dog and pony show, they'll be more than happy
Yeah.
to.
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, some of their projects have actually been very interesting when they've come in. Some of their bigger ones that they've done, I don't have a problem with this one. It doesn't seem to be too big of a scope, but if it expands or something, then sure, it would be nice.
Well, the discharge from this is going into Lake Gillard. If it were going into,
Like somebody's
another body of
property or something,
water,
right. If
Cedar
it
Lake
was
or
leaving.
something,
Yeah.
then
Like
that'd
we
be
had.
another story.
It's not like the water leaving, like, say, a business like Tilcon or something, where you have to worry about where it goes downstream, right? Absolutely. It's more, yeah, so. All right, so I think we're okay, everyone's okay with it?
I think,
Any comments, or, okay? Do we need a motion to, or is there anything, basically, is it your, if we don't have to do anything, it's more education for us to let us know.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. All right, then, let's go on to item F, which is annual meeting, regulation review, and education meeting to protect our wetlands.
We did a lot of that tonight.
Yeah, we did, actually, we did, it was in action.
I think the only thing I would like to bring up on this is usually we review our fees and compare it primarily to Branford as to what their fees are and adjust the fee, Branford, and adjust the fees accordingly. And I don't believe we've done that in a few years. I think that's something we need to look
Yeah.
at again. Doesn't mean we're going to raise the fees, but we should see where we can.
So,
comp up.
again, obviously can't do it tonight, but if you could in the next meeting or two, if you could just, pull out our fees, check for, it hopefully shouldn't be too hard to do, just to see where we are. And, we did advance our fees considerably, and which were warranted. I mean, the biggest one to me is the one, if someone puts in an application, after the fact,
After the fact.
doubling it, I mean,
quadruple, I
that's,
thought.
or was it
It's up to that.
yeah, up to, we could write minimum double, right, but we have, it's at our discretion depending on how egregious it is, but.
But the problem the last time was, if I recall, we hadn't reviewed it in so long, it was a huge jump.
Right.
And I'd rather not hit the people.
Do it
with the
incremental
huge-
than have them shock
I'd
somebody,
rather
yeah.
have a small jump than
Yeah,
a monster jump.
absolutely, and then,
Okay.
so yeah, that would be great. We can go and look at those, maybe tweak them if necessary, and keep up, we don't want to get too far behind our, surrounding towns, so.
And continue to promote our
Yeah.
Yes.
pamphlet.
I think the other thing is getting that
Pamphlet's great, I know.
pamphlet out.
Yeah, that is fantastic. I think too bad you couldn't get it into everyone's hands in the town. If they would read it, we might,
I think,
might put us out as business.
When do they put out that page that tells all the town pickups, waste pickups?
And the Tucka Times or the Sound, is it the
It's
one?
in the Tucka.
Tucka Times, right, yeah.
but I think they pay for that.
Yeah.
It used to be, though,
An insert, yeah, and that's paid for.
Oh, they sent out the card, you're saying, right? You
Yeah.
like
So
the
they
colored
pay for the
card, right,
printing,
right.
they pay for the printing of the town pays
Right.
for the printing of the card.
Yes.
And then they pay the Tucka Times a fee
To distribute it,
insert
yes.
it.
So is that a sizable cost for that entire?
Well, the Tucka Time piece, because I just did it for a political campaign, it wasn't too expensive. I shouldn't say that, Frank may raise the rates. But the printing I think was about $1,000.
So let me offer something on that. I still view myself as relatively new to town. I'm not, I've been here 4 years, but I look at myself as new compared to many of you. But I will tell you, that insert is extremely valuable. I keep that thing. It's made, it's usually distributed by some kind of oak tag or some heavy duty paper.
Yeah.
I keep that. It's I've seen people post it on their refrigerator, but it's like, when is bulk pickup? Funny you should ask. I've got this handy little sheet that's
Very
sent me,
informational, you're right.
and it's right there. It's fantastic. So I think, honestly, it's money well spent, really. If you're trying to get a message to the community, That's a terrific way to get it out.
And I mean, they can go to our website, all that isn't in there, but it's nice to have a real card. I know, no, that's what I'm
Something you
saying, a
have,
physical
keep it
card, I know.
handy. It's terrific.
I wonder if we can do it in conjunction with,
I don't see why you couldn't.
yeah, I don't know how, do you know the mechanism for that, for
Well,
the,
and isn't there like an insert with the taxes?
not that I'm aware
You
of.
get your tax bill?
Yes, there was this year for the
Yeah.
first time.
Right.
Oh, there
Right,
was?
that's right, I forgot about that, yeah.
And we missed
Usually it's
that.
just
I was
written in there.
privy to
Usually it's
find
just
anything
typed in.
on it.
Yeah.
That was the first time we
That
did.
little sheet.
Usually
I
it's
never
just,
got that sheet.
usually it's just an announcement
I like
in
the sheet.
the paper
Right,
itself.
it's not- yeah.
I kind of like the Tucket time.
Yeah, me
insert.
too.
too.
Everybody gets it. It's right there.
Maybe we can do it in conjunction with when they, I think they send that out after the first of the year, right?
Gosh,
I
I
think
don't
it's-
know.
Yeah, it's after the first of the year. Because you don't want to do it now, it's Christmas time.
All right, well, we could do it on Earth Day, whenever that cycle comes around. We put in
Yeah.
the spring Earth Day
Yeah.
announcement from the town. Here's all your rules and regulations. Here's who your committee is, your boards and commissions. And
We just want to make sure it's in the, we just want to make sure it's in the Tucket Times that it's
Yes.
mailed.
That's,
Yeah, that's not.
Right,
Yeah. Not the ones that are
that's a good
stacked up
suggestion,
though.
Bob, it's, that would reach a lot of people, and,
timely. It would be timely, I think.
yeah, I think, so, yeah.
When did we do this day last year? It was in the spring.
It's in next week.
It's April 4th or something like that?
Very good. Very good suggestion. So next, I guess we can move to item G, which is the adoption of the 2024 meeting schedule. If everyone wants to take a peek at it, make it some comments or revisions.
I'm gonna stay for the next meeting.
Oh, good.
When do you come back?
So I make a motion to approve the 2024 meeting schedule.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. Then that 2024 meeting schedule is approved.
So before we adjourn, I've received a couple of phone calls from people on Marjorie Drive regarding remediation measures that are going on back there. Is there any way we can, I know I'm blindsiding you, I got another one today. Is there any way you can give us an update as to what's happening with that?
Not until I call the DEEP and go out there and find out what's going on.
Okay, because I guess.
I'm as blindsided as you are.
Okay, because apparently they're doing things to scrape the soil or something. I haven't been back there. I haven't a clue what's going on other than the people are calling that they're taking measures back there already. There's equipment back there.
Who's doing this, Frank, again? Do you know?
It's the WTF group, I believe, that's part of his.
Oh,
It's the track that connects the one property to the other.
Oh, okay.
And the outlet is through Marjorie Drive, and this is what the neighbors all warned us about ahead of time.
I see, yep.
Though I think technically they're going out of, I want to say Auger, that's not right. They're going out of
New Bidway?
New Bidway.
Because
New Bidway.
when they put the solar farm in, that cut off
Right.
one of their transportation areas.
Right,
So-
I remember that was pretty expansive. Okay,
Yeah,
so
but-
that's,
But the people in Marjorie are concerned because there's wetlands there.
They
And
shouldn't be-
also, they don't know
Permit, they
how
shouldn't
it's
be
going
doing
to, the
anything.
noise and everything on Marjorie Drive and what's going on and.
that's good.
And this was all brought up.
Yeah, so if you could find out what they're doing, and then again, there's still the concern over the culverts that I understand the land trust wants the culverts out, I think RWA everybody wants the culverts out, and that's been going
They're not
on,
out.
God knows how many years.
We want the land transferred to the land trust, and we want to fix it.
But we want them to fix it before the land is transferred.
And there's no bond on that, is there? I can't remember.
There are some
I thought there was something
There
about.
was.
There
Yeah,
are some bonds floating around.
because we thought that was,
I have not released, that maybe I have not released, that I probably should have released if I somebody pushed me really hard, but I haven't released them.
Not until the culvert's out.
Then that's
That was
good.
part of the deal.
That's a little recourse we have, other than,
He actually called last week, and
about the bond?
yeah, I told Victor, no.
No.
We're not, till he like.
Till the
we're not doing
culvert's
it.
out.
Yeah, I mean,
Because we can't really do that, I said, we're not releasing it.
and I mean, you gotta do it during a time of low flow, so.
Which is now.
Yeah, I mean, it's either gotta be now or wait till like in the middle of the summer when you hopefully don't have a major rain. Pretty good
And they were supposed to be working on New Big's Way from the east to the west, so they need to get a wetlands permit before they get close to our wetlands, and
Right.
they know that.
Okay.
Okay, good, I'm glad you made them aware of that because.
Oh, they know that.
They know that.
It's classic.
They violate it almost every
I know,
year,
well,
right?
I'm just saying, it's a classic thing I didn't know, Hear that all the time,
Yeah, no, I'll follow up with DEP. I mean, I know they've been working to the west of Totoket Road, back by the quarry, in that area, and maybe they're finished and they're moving across. I'll,
If you could do some
I've got
investigation, that'd
some
be great.
contacts, I'll get an answer.
Good.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
And we also, the property on Totoket Road and Forest that was recently rezoned from
Right.
residential to business.
Where the old VFW was?
Exactly, right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They have put in a wetlands application, so we'll probably see that.
Just so you know, because people, again, have contacted me about that property, the big concern that people have, and that falls under our conservation piece, is access for the fishermen. Because historically, the fishermen park in that lot and they fish.
Right.
And I know that's something, even though I don't fish, that's gonna be something that's gonna be important to me, that they have, the fishermen have access, because that's historically, that's been like that for God knows how long, and they've always been allowed to park there and have access. So,
The plans came in today, I haven't even looked at
Well,
them.
Frank, when we sit for it, we'll have to address that. That's a good point.
yeah, but I just
No.
wanted you to know before it came, if you're gonna address it, the
Yeah, no, I
concern
heard
is.
a whole lot about that during the zone change.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, okay, you did, I didn't know, because that is
And
major
the
concern.
DEP owns the property abutting it.
Right, that's what I thought, it was owned by Deep. And then the only other thing that I have is on the Volt property, the signs.
There's one, she put one way back of the tree line,
All right,
and I gave her like 10 of them.
That's not 100 feet.
I will tell her to put up a few, I mean, I think if it's on the tree line back there, that's probably fine.
Just
That's awfully
beyond.
close to the river.
yeah, we were,
Just beyond what's mowed, you mean?
Yeah.
Where else can you put them?
We asked them to put in stakes, actually, because they are continuing to clear.
Oh, really?
yeah, because we had said that one piece, they weren't supposed to cut back further in, and they still cutting that grass. I don't wanna make a big deal out of it, because at least they got the grass growing, but I really do think
Dirt,
that
but still.
was a requirement of what we did, that they put the signs, and I think they should put the signs up.
Well, I will see her tomorrow and tell her.
Okay.
Okay, very good.
Unfortunately, their house is on the highway, and I think everybody drives by it, so I always look if the signs are up when I go by. So,
There is one way back, there is one back
see,
there.
I was expecting them to be along where the tall grass is, where they stop mowing. I was expecting to see posts and signs there.
Good. I'll talk to her. I won't talk to him, but I'll talk to her.
Yeah.
He's not, yeah.
Okay, we don't want to put you in any
Yeah.
jeopardy with
Yeah.
that. It's not worth it.
No, I think she's becoming quite the environmentalist.
Yeah, she's on one of the commissions,
Yeah.
the Farm River Commission, I think now, or something like that, right?
Very good. Anything else, or
I'm fine.
ready to adjourn? We
Well,
just need a
we
motion.
almost made it to 7:30, and the first one didn't show up. So we did go beyond what you said, 7
Yeah.
to 7:15.
He had his opportunity. I was hoping we'd show up, and maybe the thought of an ordinance and a fine, daily, weekly fine might get them going, but apparently not, but we'll see. All right, so,
Well, I will send him a stronger letter tomorrow.
Yeah, because truthfully, I mean, his neighbors are watching him, and they're calling me. And I'm getting 2-3 phone calls saying, hey, they didn't tell me they were boulders, they said rocks, I was envisioning small stones, and I was told he was filling in the pond, which is totally different.
Right.
But there's a lot of people upset in his neighborhood.
I mean, he doesn't really have bad intentions. Every time I go over, he's like, well, how much money are you going to give me to do that? And I'm like, no, you have to pay for the permit. He goes, well, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, aren't you going to help me fix this?
what he just said makes perfect sense, because we dealt with him 5 years ago. So he's probably trying to, be maybe a little nicer to you, but that comment makes perfect sense. He didn't want to pay for a permit. He just.
Yeah, it's like, I don't have money to do that. And then all of a sudden he's doing something. I said, well, where'd you get the money to do this?
Exactly. That's exactly what we used to say. But anyway.
I'm sure it was free rock, like you said.
Yeah. I'm sure you got a deal on it.
With people like that, I can say things like that.
No, we appreciate it. We know
They don't react.
you're working at it. You're doing everything you can, so we'll have to. All right, again, so someone will make a move to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, meeting adjourned.
All right.
So once the camera goes off, we have one other thing to talk about.